You'll find this little kind of materials posting in your classwork under week 2 Saturday. This might look a little different just because it is the teacher's view, and by the time I'm recording this, I haven't added everything to week 2, but if anything, you can find it on just like the regular stream and click on there. Here, there's kind of information on what to do with this posting, but I'm going to go over Zotero and kind of give you a little bit of an overview of what it is. So just click that Google Docs and it should take you to a Google Docs I've created with kind of all the little bits that you might need with Zotero, including how to create an account, the apps, and all this stuff, which I'll go over. But Zotero it's a free, that's one of the cool things about it. It is free. It's an open source research tool that helps you collect, organize, and analyze research and share it in a variety of ways. So essentially, Zotero is a reference management tool. It helps you manage your references. There's other kind of apps like it that exist out there. I think Medley is one of them, but there's a ton of others. The reason I'm introducing you to Zotero, again, is because it's free. I think Medley is free as well, but Zotero is one that I'm most familiar with, and I do like how it works. But like I've said, it's a management tool to manage your references and kind of papers for your literary reviews or any research that you do or projects that you work on. Outside of being a management tool, you can also use it to create digital annotations. You can annotate it without having to print out your references or anything. You can all do it digitally, which is pretty great, and you can also access it anywhere. So the reason I'm introducing you to Zotero is to use it within WERM for our group references, and that'll make a little more sense once I show you Zotero, but also to give you a page to an application to use to annotate any articles I might share with you in the future. And also, Zotero is a tool that I want you to be able to take to, like, let's say college and use when you take any courses that you have to write a research paper for. It's just a great tool to have. So here you have the link to the main page, and let me just go there. So this is what the main page looks like, and the first thing that you will do is kind of create an account with them. To do so, again, go to the main website, and I'm going to walk you through the steps. So you click up here on the right hand corner, just click log in, and mine has the autofill information just because I do have an account with them, but for you, I want you to click register for free account and just create a username, email, and password that you'll remember. I don't have any preference on what you do here, just as long as you remember it, and it's an account that you can access in the future. I will say, if you do want to use Zotero within Google, I believe that you have to use a Gmail, or it is a little easier to link if you have a Gmail, if you want to use it within Chrome or Google. But if anything, just use the email that you're more comfortable with or that it's easier for you. Once you register, this is a free way to you have the ability to sync and access your library from anywhere. It lets you join groups and kind of back up all your attached files. So think of it as almost like you have a cloud. I believe the limit is like 15 gigabytes, but I have a ton of articles and I haven't even reached that. So again, it's free and it works really well. So once you've created an account, this will give you access to the online version of Zotero. The online version works great in my opinion. If that's all you can do and you don't even have to download the app, I feel like the online version itself is pretty amazing. But if you do want, you can download the app to your computer using the Mac or PC version, and I've included a link to their download page. For mine, it says for Mac just because it kind of reads that I do have a Mac, but if anything, if yours doesn't come up right away over here, just click this little arrow for the other versions and you can click and follow the instructions to download it to your computer. Additionally, you can also add the Zotero connector, which is kind of like this Chrome extension that you can install to your Google Chrome browser. And what this will let you do is use Zotero not only online, but also within Google Docs, Slides, or whatever Google Drive applications you use. And I've included also a link to how to use that. So that's just the link on where to install it to your Google Chrome and this is the Google Chrome web store. Oh my god. That's like almost a tongue twister. So that's available for you there. And then let me just log into Zotero to show you the online version and kind of walk you through what Zotero is. So Zotero looks like this. It's a great way to manage your citations. But let me go to our WERM group library page. So here I don't have a lot. I do just have this article for you guys. But if you notice, there is a My Library and then there's also group libraries, kind of two sections here on the left-hand side. So once you share your username with me and you comment it here under the posting in Google Classroom, what I can do is I can add you to our group library. Now, when I share articles with you, I would say upload them or annotate them within your own library, just because if you do it within our group library, other people can see your annotations. This is great if we're doing an exercise together, or like this article that I have included where I show you kind of how I annotate. That's really great. But if, I'll repeat myself again, if you have your own article, just upload it to your own library so that way you can annotate it within there. But also any references that you add outside of maybe the articles I share, just make sure to add it to your own library just so that it's synced to you. So our group library just serves to kind of have a group references page. Let's say we write something together. This is a way that we can just add it to any document that we have. Okay, so to add stuff to here, to add a reference, you have this plus arrow. So you can add a variation of different types of references, from books to case to hearings. If you're like a law student, the one that you mostly will use probably is journal article with WERM, but there's also the option to add artwork, data sets, even emails, interviews, letters, maps. There's a whole list here. But you can also upload a file. So let's say you looked up a research paper on Google Scholar and it's an open source one where they give you the PDF. I like to download the PDF. I recommend you do that just so you have like a clean version, quote unquote, of whatever it is you want to annotate. But download the document and let's say you want to upload that PDF. You can click upload PDF and it will upload it to Zotero. And once it does, what it will do for you is extract all this information here on the right hand side, so all this info that usually you would have to do manually. So it'll extract title, authors, maybe the date it was published, the date you added it. It'll also show you the abstract over here, who added it. In this case, just because we're working under a group library, it'll tell you who added whatever it was to that group library. And it'll also give you a URL and a DOI number. So DOI number is the digital object identifier number. It's kind of like a social security number. It's unique to that article. So only that article has that number. Up here, you can also add articles by using the URL or ISBN number. Again, the DOI, which I explained, and then I think PMIDS is to do with medical journals. But again, these are unique numbers that allow you to add them to here. You can create folders, you can delete stuff, share, and a number of other things. But you can also add a note. And I'm going to leave that note there so you just can see the sync feature that I'll show you in a bit. So I opened this one up. So this is kind of what Zotero looks like. And I'll quickly go over kind of their little toolbar up here. And this article is in our group library. And it's a great article about forest fragmentation and edge effects, which I'll probably recommend you read in the future. But for now, it looks very colorful and everything because it's my sample paper to kind of show you how we read and annotate articles. So up here, let's start from the left-hand side. So this little thing here allows you to see any annotations you've made or any comments that you've made. And once you click on them, it'll take you to that specific area on the paper or on the article that's up here. You can also click here and it allows you to see kind of a view of every single page. And scroll through. Zotero will also kind of make a outline for you. It won't do this for every article, but once it does it, it's really helpful so you can jump from section to section and jump from specific sections of, let's say, the discussion. There's also a little tool to search within that outline as well. Again, really cool. You can kind of jump through and see everything. Then you have the kind of regular magnify and zoom in tools. You have this little feature too that zooms it and kind of justifies it to your screen and kind of takes up that space. You have these arrows that allow you to jump from page to page. This is essentially kind of like flipping the page if you had it physically, but yeah. And then these little tools up here are all your little annotation tools. And I've included down here kind of what each thing stands for or is, but let me walk you through quickly kind of how to use that. So let's say I want to highlight this section here. What I will do is kind of hold down and highlight like you normally would. Let's say if you're going to copy and paste something, so just highlight it. And then you can click whatever color you want. So let's say I want yellow, but maybe I also changed my mind. What you can do is kind of click on the annotation and these little 3 buttons and change the color. So these 3 little dots here. You can also convert it to an underline if you like, or even begin with an underline by clicking the little underline kind of tool up here. You can also add a comment, and this is really helpful because once you do add a comment, what will happen is like a little sticky note will appear here. And once you use this little tab here, like I showed you before, it'll kind of keep track of that here as well. So let me just delete that one. And then the other tools are like a sticky note. So you can add a sticky note and add a kind of comment attached to that. Again, the 3 little dots allow you to change the color if you have like a color coding system, and also delete it. Now in this sample article and maybe articles I'll share in the future, you'll see that I have like handwritten notes. The reason why I do have these is because I have the Zotero version connected to my iPad, which allows me to use my Apple Pencil to add annotations, and I do that by using their little drawing pen and using the Apple Pencil. But similar to this, you can add annotations by using just like a text box. Similar thing, you can type stuff in, you can change the color, and again, you can also change this here. You can change the font size and drag it anywhere you want it to be. And this will serve the same function as like, let's say, handwriting it, which is a pretty, I use this sometimes too, especially if I don't have access, or before when I didn't have access to like, let's say an Apple Pencil, and it works pretty well. You can also add boxes. So let's say you want to highlight a figure or a specific section of it, you can do that. Again, the 3 little dots allow you to change color and also delete it. And then the last little feature I think is this just little kind of find in the document little tool. It's a little magnifying glass. And what you could do is just type in something, let's say, and it will find it for you within the article. You could do match case or just match the whole word or whatever it is. And these tools, again, the online version works well. So these tools are like similar tools you'd find in the desktop version. Another quick thing is like, let's say you want to find or read the specific citations. If you hover over the citations, not only will it take you to the references and highlight it where it is so you can maybe find it, but it also, when you hover over it, it'll just give you the citation. Sometimes you can click the link if there is a link and access that citation, which is really helpful. But let's go to the desktop version. Let's say you download this to your computer. It's very similar as a desktop version. I think the only difference really is that, like, let's say I click on this stuff, it looks just a little different, and you can kind of scroll through things here. But other than that, it's pretty much the same. Again, looks pretty similar. The only difference is that you might see this here or this kind of bar over here. And if you remember, in the online version, we added this sticky note, and it's here in my desktop version of Zotero. So that's the really cool feature also about Zotero, is that you can kind of sync whatever you need. And to sync your account, once you download Zotero to your desktop, just click settings and then click sync. This might look a little different just because it's going to be asking you, but essentially log in with your username and password, and it will sync your account to the desktop version or your app version. It might take a little bit, but it will do so. And then also if you want to refresh or resync, just click this little kind of 2 arrows up here and it will refresh everything. And again, it looks similar. It's literally similar thing. I think the only difference is that it does have this little thing on the side which you can pop up and kind of see different sections or attachments and stuff. Now let me show you how you use Zotero. So let me just delete this really quickly to show you the feature that I love most about it. So outside of annotation, you can also use it when writing a paper. So this is so once you download the desktop version to your computer, and let's say you have Word within your computer, you should get this little tab up here that says Zotero. So let's say this is my research paper and I've written a bunch, or I'm writing this, and I wrote global forests are the most significant terrestrial carbon sink. What you can do is click that tab that says Zotero and then just click add or edit citation. And you can search it up based on authors or the title of whatever reference you want to use. Let's say I want to add this one, which is about forests and makes sense here. I click it, and then I click the little arrow, and what it will do is it will insert the citation for me. And let me just add a couple of other random ones. I'll just click random ones so you guys can see what that looks like. And I'll add, here I added 5, and it will add all those papers to it. Here it added an A and B because I think those are 2 citations, but let's say I want to change that. I can kind of click on it, add or edit, and I can delete any papers that I don't want in there or references, and click add. And let's say I'm done with my research paper, I've added all my references and stuff. What I can do is, now that I have my work cited, all I have to do is add or edit bibliography, and this will add all the citations that I've used or added to my document while I was making it, because I was adding them through Zotero. And before I forget, by the way, when you make a document and you do this for the first time, like let's say you click add, something similar to this will pop up. So Zotero allows you to add references and document preferences however you'd like. You can change the language, and you can also change the citation style. Usually for science it's the APA, usually 7th edition that we use, so that's the one that's being used here, and that's why these look like that. But then I'm going to add my bibliography, or my works cited. And what Zotero will do for you within Word, let's say you're done, it will add any references that you've used. It will add it to you in the format that you want it to, in the citation style you want it to be added, and it will add it in alphabetical order. So essentially it will do your references and works cited for you. This is very helpful, especially if you're like on a deadline, or you're working on this last minute, you're working on a paper last minute, and you need to add your works cited. It'll just do it for you. Okay, so that basically is kind of everything. That similar tab is also found in Google Docs once you add Zotero, but I am not going to explain that in this kind of little video. If you have any other questions, I've attached this video, which is super duper helpful. It's a pretty long video, but he goes over everything, including how to do this similar thing, but within Google. And his version I think he uses is it's like a year older. This is a year old video, but the steps are pretty much the same. So you can hover through and kind of check and go through sections that you might have questions on, and he has those labeled, including how to use it within Google, or maybe how to create a references list, which is kind of what I showed you how to do. And he shows you how to do it within Google.